welcome to the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show, hosted by me, yours truly, Jeffrey Bellomo, where we discuss all things estate planning and elder law, and, well, hey, anything else we want to talk about. Now, today is going to be a little bit about estate planning and elder law because it is one of my best friends. And Jess, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Really excited to be here.
I am too. I'm very excited to have you again as a guest. We've done this before, and it was an awesome podcast, and I love it. And we have some exciting news today, and I'm excited to share it. But before we get there, just in case we do talk legal technical, although I doubt we will, but just in case, I want to do our disclaimer. Remember, don't take what you hear from this show, or any other show for that matter, to constitute legal advice. If you are looking for legal advice, please call an attorney licensed in the state that you reside in, who practices in the area of law that you are looking for advice in. And after you meet with them, tell them the facts of your situation and they give you advice. That's what you can constitute as legal advice, and take that opinion. This show, and any other show for that matter, should be used for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. So at Bellomo Associates, we educate, so what happened to my family doesn't happen to yours. We offer free workshops on a very, very regular basis in the areas of estate planning, the pre-planning context where we talk about powers of attorney, trusts, wills, all kinds of good stuff like that. We also have a crisis Medicaid workshop for people who are going to need skilled care in the home or in a nursing home within, I don't know, let's say the next 6 months to a year. We also have special needs workshops for individuals with disabilities who are receiving public benefits, and we want to make sure that they don't lose their public benefits because of the receipt of money or if they're working. We also have life care planning workshops. So with life care planning, we have 2 licensed social workers on our team who will be able to assist you and your family with the next transition, with the next phase of life. Everything from how can we keep the home safe for mom? Is it time to transition mom into an assisted living facility or a skilled facility? We need someone helping decipher what a doctor's saying. All kinds of stuff that you don't think about on a regular basis. And those are the life care planning workshops as well. And post-death administration workshops after the loss of a loved one, making sure that you know what you need to do to carry out their wishes, either in their will or their trust, to get the assets to people that you need to get them to, and make sure all the taxes are paid correctly and everything else is done correct. So if you're looking for information in the estate planning and elder law context, please give us a call at 717-845-5390, 717-845-5390, and check us out on the web at www.bellomoassociates.com. And for my dear friend client who asked me recently, I'm going to spell that for you. B as in boy, ELLOMO, Associates, spelled out with an S.com. All right, well, Jess needs absolutely no introduction. She is the face of Bellomo Associates. She is the branding extraordinaire, the community outreach coordinator, the everything. And like I said earlier, one of my best friends and one of my dear friends. So today might be one of our harder podcasts that I've ever done, Jess.
Oh, well.
So we have some exciting news, and this is the celebration part. So one of the things at Bellomo Associates that we have always said, and it's part of our rules of engagement, if it's ever time to find a new bus, please let us know, and we will help you find a new bus, and we will do everything we possibly can in the transition. And when Jess was hired, the goal as the community outreach coordinator was to get the Bellomo name out, to get us branded so that people recognized the name, people knew who we were. And I would say mission accomplished, my friend. I don't think that there could be anything better who could have done that. So,
Well, it has been an honor and super easy, really. I mean, a lot of the legwork was done. And it was interesting. I was thinking about it too. Like we were just kind of coming out of COVID still, even, and when I started, and I was still wearing masks in facilities and all this. And so how much has changed, over the last couple of years. But it's an easy sell when it's, something that you're passionate about and you have a good team and they do good work. So like I said, it's truly been an honor.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for saving me there. I appreciate that.
You're
Um,
fine.
yeah, and I think I remember when you said to me on the call that day, I've done everything I can. I've accomplished all the goals that I've looked to with the branding and doing it all. And it's time. And I agree completely. I think that you have done one heck of a job. And while I don't agree that it's easy, I think that you make it easy because that's your skill set and that's your unique ability. It's certainly not easy for everybody, but it's been fun now, kind of talking and helping you and discussing different opportunities. And we don't have any announcement today. There's nothing official yet. So please, as you're listening to this, don't think that we're going to announce the location yet. We have some incredible opportunities. Jessica's been on some great interviews with some great people. And I've been making some calls and receiving some calls from people as well. And that is one of the fun things. As much as it's really hard to say goodbye to anybody, especially somebody who has done so much and frankly is one of my best friends. That's the part that I think is harder. But from a business standpoint, she's done it. She's accomplished everything. So I don't know. Jess, let's go back 3 years,
Yeah.
if you can. And I remember, and I hope I remember this story correctly. The way that I remember it is that I had reached out to you, I don't know, 5 times maybe over the course of years, and
Yeah.
pretty much said, when are you going to join us? You have an offer and you can come anytime you want.
Yep.
And I recall I love the mission of where I am and
Mm-hmm.
I love what I'm doing. And I don't take rejection very well. So I kept asking and I kept getting turned down and I kept getting turned down. And then something like, I think at that point, I finally heard you. I made an offer to Roz, I believe, for the marketing director position. And then within a day or two after that, you called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, does that offer still stand?" And I said,
Right.
"Yes, yes, it does. Let's
That
figure
was,
out how to
that
make
is
this work." So,
exactly what happened. Yes.
wow. Yeah. It seems
Yeah.
like yesterday on one hand. And on the other hand, it seems like it was 10 years ago. So what was
Yeah.
it about Bellomo Associates or the firm, or what was it about the opportunity that you thought would be a good fit for you?
Yeah. I mean, again, I thought, one, well, Jeff keeps reaching out, so he must think I'm a good fit or that there's a place for me here. And, I understood a little bit, right, about what you did. But I think most importantly, I already knew you, liked you, respected you, trusted you. And who wouldn't want to work for Jeff Bellomo? So to me, it was just an easy, okay, where I am now is changed. It changed dramatically, through COVID. And there were just some decisions that were made that I had to then reflect on what I wanted to do and how that was going to translate. And I remember saying, before I do an extensive job search, before I update my resume, like, let me talk to you first. We haven't quite synced up yet, but yeah, it was always on my radar. And then everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, "You're going to work for a law firm? Like, you've been a nonprofit forever. What are you doing?" And now they all get it. But at the time I was like, no, 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 no. Like, we don't sue people. We're not, we're good people. We're protecting people. We're helping families. And if you met Jeff, you would understand. And then anyone that had any questions or was surprised, like I said, now they get it. They're like, "Oh yeah, duh. Why wouldn't you want to work there? And why wouldn't you want to work with Jeff and everything?" So yeah, that was an interesting sort of swap for me. But
Yeah. Yeah.
again, it was really about the people and the culture and the wanting to help families. So
That's awesome. I
yeah.
was going to ask you a question, but I'm not going to because I know we don't know the answer to it yet. But
Oh, okay.
I was just going to ask about, are we heading back into the nonprofit, or so we
Well,
won't go there because we don't know
yeah.
yet. So
I don't think so. I don't know. No decisions yet, but I do think it's funny. I was talking to someone yesterday about my career previously being with kids, right? Like youth organizations, nonprofits, and now I'm kind of on the other end of the age spectrum, and I love it. And so, if you had asked me coming out of college if that might be somewhere I would wind up, I would have told you no. Like,
no,
no,
I
no.
understand. Me too.
Environment age, whatever. No, I like kids. I like kid, whatever. But I'm like, no, this is great. Like, their parents aren't calling to yell at me. Like, this is so nice. You know,
Oh Lord.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Never would
so
have thought of
it's just
that.
very funny. But yeah.
Yeah. And what has been your favorite thing? Like, what have you enjoyed the most? What are some of the activities that you like to do or that you're like, wow, I didn't expect that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
A little harder today, right? Because these aren't
Yeah.
as easy questions. I'm kind of having fun
Oh,
today.
no, that's good. Obviously events. I love, you know, I don't even think I was supporting the maintenance program until a couple months in, really.
Right.
And then when that became, one of my roles, I was like, okay, I will help the clients, plan these events. And I love it. And so it's been something that's really important to me because I want one to connect with the clients, but two to make sure that they're feeling connected with us and they see that value. So,
Yeah.
whenever I explain it, sometimes they're educational events, sometimes they're fun events, sometimes they're a mixture of both. Obviously, I loved the one we did with the Securing Memories, where we worked with
Me
them
too.
to answer questions and record them. I was at the 50 Plus Expo a couple months after that event, and one of our clients came to the table and, thanked us for doing it. And she's like, unfortunately, the sound didn't work on mine. I must not have recorded it correctly. And I was like, what? And I was like, do you have your
Oh.
phone? Let me see. And so she gave me her phone and she just had it on mute. So it was fine. But like
Oh.
for a couple months, this poor woman thought she had recorded. I said, even if you had, you can always call us, we'll help
Yeah.
you. It's fine. It was so precious. So that one was great. We had a storyteller come in and do
Yeah.
local lore right around Halloween, which was really cool. And she actually catered her whole presentation to be about York and Lancaster lore. So it was really specific to our clients, and that was really fun. That was a great turnout too. It was one of the first times I saw them bring other family members, like they had other
Oh
people
yeah.
there, which was cool. So yeah, all those kind of fun things where we get to reconnect with the clients and support them again, whether it's fun or educational or whatever. But that's
Yeah.
been, a huge treasure really for me.
Yeah. I was talking to the leadership team the other day, and I was saying about how, well, for those of you who don't know Jess and I, and Jess and Jeff, we are basically the same person. I'm the male version, she's the female version. It's almost scary at times. We even kind of laugh at the same sick humor.
Yes.
But we're also very flexible. We're very easy to go with things to kind of
Mhm.
just make stuff
Yep.
up on the fly.
Yep.
And that is what made it so successful, because I think one of the downsides to the way that it ended up happening was I don't think your role was clearly defined. And I
Mhm.
think that it was a branding, okay, now we're going to add maintenance. Okay, now we're going to have you do this. Okay, now there are very few people who can do that. And that is something that I kind of do okay with. I'd say 98% of the time. You
Yeah.
probably do well with it 100% of the time. And I don't, we were talking about how successful it was because of you and because of the fact that
Oh,
it wasn't clearly defined, which I think at the end of the day is tough. That's a
mhm.
really hard thing, not having a clearly defined role. And over time, we certainly tried. I mean, we
Yeah.
certainly started to
Yeah.
document it. But I think that's a testament to you and to your flexibility and ability to kind of go with things. And it doesn't have to be perfect before you get started. Thank goodness for that, right? Or
Yeah. Yep.
that would have been
Dive
a
right in.
mess. Yeah, but that's what made it so amazing. And I think that's what, because you and I are so similar. I mean, I can't. How many times are we at events together and over the years, and people are like, "Wow, you're so similar. You guys are like so, almost
Yes.
brother sister," and
J
that is
squared.
kind of how it is, right? And the networking. I mean, the one thing we've shared a lot of networking events
Mhm.
together over
Yeah.
the years, and your ability to network and connect with people and relationships. I mean, there's very few people in
Yeah.
the world that have that ability.
Yeah.
You're the top.
That's
You're
nice.
definitely the best at that stuff. So
That's
it's been a lot of fun.
I love it. Yep.
Yeah, it's been incredible. And I know a couple of people that I was talking to recently when you had mentioned to them about leaving, and I got calls and they're like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, 100%.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
in fact, I think that's a testament to the fact that she came to me and said, "Help me and be a part of it." And
Right.
I still want to do stuff for Bellomo, and I'm still going to help in the interim. And, certainly you've been killing it. I mean, you're doing a heck of a job for somebody who knows that she's interviewing and stuff. That's hard. That is
Yeah.
not easy to stay focused when there's so many things changing in your life. And
Yeah.
so it's been amazing.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't think I realized how hard this was going to be today, just for the
Oh,
record. Oh man. So, all right. So let's talk about one of the original connections that we have. We were kind of mentioning it earlier a little bit before we got on the podcast here live, but Olivia's house.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So your husband Casey
Mhm.
and my wife, of course, Whitney, are, I would say, also very, very
Oh
good
my
friends.
gosh. Yep. And they're the same person too.
I know, in a
Yes.
very different way, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you and I both married people not similar to
Yes.
us,
Right.
but they are definitely very similar as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So
Yes. They're type A personalities. Yes.
yes,
We
yes.
need them. We do.
I always thought I had a type A personality until I met my wife, and then I
Yeah.
realized,
Yeah.
I don't really have a type A
But it's great.
personality.
It's good balance. Yep. It works.
Yep.
Definitely works. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were involved in Olivia's house before I think we even met. I mean, that's kind of how you met Casey and how you guys
Yes.
started, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Olivia's house and their mission. And I
Yeah.
never want to
Absolutely.
pass up an opportunity to
Yeah.
talk about that as well.
Educate on that. Exactly. Yeah. So I actually interned there in 2007
That's right.
when I was a student at your college. And I did grant writing. So I did grant writing as an intern over the summer. And then when I graduated in 2009, they had an apartment available, which had to be someone they trusted. It couldn't be like a tenant off Craigslist or whatever,
Okay.
because they had access to Olivia's house, really. So
Oh,
they offered me that and a part-time job while I was going to grad school. I became a volunteer, so I got trained to be a companion. There's a million volunteer opportunities at Olivia's house, which is great. But in order to work with the children in the program, you have to be trained. There's a certain
okay.
component there. So I did that to become a companion and work with the kiddos. And then, when I stopped working there and took my full-time job at Boy Scouts is when Casey and I started dating. So we didn't
Oh,
even connect, like that until he worked there, but I was like, I don't know about that guy. Um, and then that was it. So yeah, so actually we'll be married 13 years in June, which is crazy. And of course he's the executive director now. So he started in development and then, but they only have, they only have 3 full-time, on-site staff and they run 2 centers. So when you talk about volunteering, being on the board like Whitney does, there's volunteers that bake cookies for the kids. When they have program, there's people that go and address letters there's anything is so helpful, even if you don't have the commitment or the desire to work with the children and get that training, there's so many ways to support them. And, you and I have seen the incredible work they do. So it's just all so important.
yeah. It's been. I actually remember where I was standing in our old house
Yeah.
when Whitney came to me one day, and it was maybe 3 years. I don't remember the exact date, but it was probably about 3 years after 9/11. Of course, the day
Mm-hmm.
before 9/11, one of Whitney's students was in an accident at the York Fair and lost his life. And that family was involved with Olivia's house. And then a year later, she looped with the same class. They wanted her to stay with that class because of the loss. And then in her next year, one of her students' mothers passed away to cancer. And I remember her coming home from the hospital after saying goodbye to Dawn, saying, "Sweetheart, I asked Dawn today if her daughter could be in our wedding." And I looked at her and said, "We're not engaged yet, but that's awesome." And I already had the ring, so it was completely good and everything was
Yeah.
fine. But I remember that, and she just said, "Jeff, I want to give back. It's
Yes.
time. It's time to give back." It was probably 3 years after Matthew's passing, and she's like, "I just see what they did for the family," and I'm like, "What is it?" Because I didn't know. And
Right.
when you
Sure.
say the word a grief and loss center for children, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what does that mean?
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know, and boy, I'd say as a family, we've certainly bought in hook, line, and sinker, and she's on and off the board as often as she can be because they have
Yep.
those term limits, which I think are great things.
Yep.
And then my daughter now, every now and then, goes in on her days off to school to get volunteer hours for National Honor Society and different things. And so
Yeah.
she's also
It's awesome.
equally, yeah, she's talked
Yep.
recently, depending on the day, it depends on what she wants to do with her life. But
Yeah.
another thing recently has been working with children in a similar type of setting. So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe one day she'll be working there as well. Maybe she'll be the
Oh,
fourth
right.
team member. You never know,
Right.
right?
Well, she could do an internship at least. I can't
Yes.
promise she'll get a husband out of it, but if at
Hey,
least get
it
some
might
credit.
it might be worth a shot, right? Who knows?
Right. You don't
So
know. I didn't know. Yeah.
it worked for you. I
Right.
mean,
It's crazy. Yeah,
who knows?
that whole we don't have enough time today, but that whole journey was so serendipitous and crazy. Just being connected with Olivia's house and then the mission and then, when my mom died, having those connections
Wow.
and everything, I just, it's incredible. And working with those kids is just amazing. They are just resilient and brilliant and yeah. So I know Whitney's seen that
Yeah.
and everything. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
and if
cool.
you're not familiar, if you're one of the listeners and you're not familiar, I know we had Casey
Mhm.
on this podcast as well, but check out Olivia's House. It's an incredible organization. They're always, as Jess mentioned, looking for volunteers, looking for donations. All of the programs that they give for the children are free. So they need, obviously, funding in order to be able to continue to offer that free support and teaching
Yeah.
and programs. So, and you know what, just for a fun thing, I don't know when this podcast will get published, but regardless of the timing of it, there are a couple incredible videos that they recently made. They do a lot of wonderful videos with the three team members at Olivia's house, and two that are recently coming out that Jess and I were just talking about were done by one of the team members, Julia, and you have to look up Give Local York and Olivia's house. I'm sure you'll be able to find it by this
Yeah.
time this podcast gets published. But man, she's talented.
Yep. Their YouTube page has tons of videos. So some of them are like more program based, and then some of them are the fun ones, like we're talking about here. And yeah, their video work is just phenomenal, no matter what it's for. But
Yeah.
the videos they got coming up, for Give Local York are a lot of fun. So
Now, is that, I don't know this for sure. I'm guessing here. Is that what Casey kind of is originally doing, was video stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
So his
Okay.
degree was in like communications, film. And so he loves it. He does all of their graphic design. So like when you get the gala invites, when you get all that,
Yeah.
finance report, he does all that design work. He does the editing of the videos. Usually he'll work with his friend Tom, that he went to school with, and Anna for the gala videos, because those are, as you know, a little longer and more extensive. Also on their YouTube channel, incredible. They just recently won a Telly Award. It's behind me for
Oh
one
yeah,
of,
I see it. I didn't know
one of
that.
their gala videos. And so again, it's just a great way to reach people all over, right? You don't have to be in New York. You can still be supported and learn, or support them through the fun world of videos. So yeah, I'm super proud of all they do and grateful for people like Whitney and you that support their mission. We decided early on I would not work there, even though I'd love to, that would not be very beneficial for our relationship. But I love them and everything they do. So
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah,
yeah.
the way that it impacts children is just,
Yep.
it's unlike anything else that I've ever experienced. And we've certainly
Yep.
been active in a lot of organizations, and I love them all. So it's certainly not a slight on
Yeah.
any other organization. But when you see the kids, and I just recently saw a post from a mom who went through the program and just did a video recently about the experience and how
Oh, yeah.
it was so incredible for her children. And I was crying. Now, you're probably thinking, yeah, Jeff, when don't you cry? But
I didn't say it.
yeah, I get it. I own it.
That's right.
So
I love that about you.
yeah, so it's been incredible.
That's cool.
I
And look, they
can't.
connect great people, right? I met
Yeah.
you, Whitney through that, and the networking that happens even with their supporters and their, gosh, the people that support that mission are amazing. So us all getting to connect brings us great opportunities like this. So,
Amen. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. And, I'm so glad for that. We maybe never met if
Yeah.
life didn't happen the way that it did, and the way that we experienced it all. So things happen for a reason, and it's
Absolutely.
been incredible. So
Yeah.
one last time, Jess, I can't thank you enough.
Thanks.
You will always be part of the family, always be Bellomo through and through.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that you've branded the organization is unlike anything ever. So thank you for always believing in us, and
Oh, yeah.
you're going to kill it no matter where you go. And I know you've got some great opportunities and probably some more coming on the horizon here shortly. So hopefully by the time this podcast is released, Jess is already in her
Next
new
adventure.
endeavors. Yeah, and killing it. But
I'll comment on it and let
please
people
do.
know.
Please do. That would be awesome. So thank you again. And thank you to the listeners. I think that it's important sometimes for this not to be just legal technical, but to be more sometimes about just who we are as people. And there's a lot going on in life and into what we do. And we always want what's best for our families we work with, and in particular as well, our team and our team members. So thank you again. And we wish you and Casey the absolute best. And I know you're going to crush no matter what you do. So to my listeners, thank you for being here today on the Red Wagon Estate Planning and Elder Law Show. Certainly a bittersweet one for me, but nonetheless a great experience, a great opportunity in life to share it with you, Jess. So thanks to my listeners, and until next time, we'll see you real soon.